Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about another diet that I've tried, this time the low carb diet. And this, is often confused with the keto diet being very similar, both of them reducing the amount of carbs you have in your diet, but keto goes much further than the low carb diet does. So, typically the low carb diet tries to limit your carbs at around 20% or less. Keto tries to limit it down to like 5% or less, really. And then also increase the amount of fat you're taking to 70-ish% of your total calories, so that you are predominantly eating fat and therefore producing a lot of ketones. So, really with the low carb diet, a lot of the macronutrient split for low carb diet tends to be like 20% or less carbohydrates, and then 20 to 30%, sometimes 40% fat, and then as much as like 50% protein, right? So it's much more protein heavy, whereas keto is fat heavy. And what that means is a lot less energy for you, right? Or for me. Because protein is not as good of an energy source as carbohydrates and not as good as fats. You can break down proteins. You have a process for breaking down proteins into sugars, but it's not as good. It's a very inefficient process. Whereas producing ketones in the liver and also breaking down forms of carbohydrates into glucose is a very efficient process and releases a lot of energy. So it's very good. And a lot of those energy reasons, or the inefficiency of protein as an energy source, are why you have so many side effects on the low carb diet, right? And I read about it. I heard about people who successfully use the low carb diet for helping their GI disease. That's why I started it. It's one of the very first diets that I tried, and it felt terrible, right? Like I already had autoimmune disease, and then I, had a lot of these symptoms that go along with autoimmune disease, like fatigue and not sleeping well, and aches and pains, like flu-like symptoms frequently, and all of this stuff. And low carb diet made a lot of them worse. Despite having a lower carb intake, which is part of what happens when you do a healing diet like GAPS or SCD, which is really just cutting out the grains and sugars. On low carb, you're still eating some carbs, but you're not eating enough, and you're not replacing enough with fat. And so you really are just deficient in energy for the most part. And it just feels bad, right? Like you feel extra tired. You wake up in the morning and you're still exhausted, and all this stuff, and it just doesn't feel good. And then sometimes you get like the keto flu type feeling, which is your body trying to transition from using carbs, using glucose, to using ketones as energy, and that just also feels bad. It feels like you actually have the flu, and then you have some die-off of gut bacteria, which releases endotoxins, which also feels like you have the flu, and you just don't feel good for a while. And the bad thing about the low carb diet is you never fully adjust to it, right? Like you feel bad, and then if you're on keto, after like a week or so, you start feeling really good, right? As your body picks up ketone production, and it really takes like 3 full days to ramp those up. So assuming you're transitioning to keto, it's going to take a couple of days to transition to like that 70% fat threshold and start fully digesting it properly and then producing enough ketones. But with lower carb, you never hit that inflection point. You just are deficient in carbs or deficient in energy indefinitely as long as you're on the diet. And so it feels so bad. It is like not only that, but it doesn't actually help with disease at all, disease management, like my Crohn's disease and CFS and celiacs and the migraines that I had. The MS symptoms and everything, it didn't help with any of that, right? Like I'm still eating the problematic carbohydrates, just less of them, and then also not getting enough fat. So just, didn't feel good. I basically just spent, like the month that I did that in a computer chair, not working out, not doing anything else, because I just had no energy to do anything. So it was not fun. And, unlike most of these diet videos where I put in some links in the description on the diet and books about it and recipes and all of that stuff, I'm not even going to do that with this one. Like I would never recommend this diet to anyone. It doesn't help with anything. its primary use is for weight loss. And even that it's not that great at. Like, what's the point of losing weight if you just feel terrible all the time? That's going to like undercut your motivation for doing it, right? If you want a good weight loss diet, you replace the bad carbs, all of the ones that have, synthetic hormones and, toxins and stuff that your body needs to store in fat because it can't excrete all of them properly. Um, you replace those with good carbs like vegetables and fruits. And then you're getting a ton of antioxidants. And so your body doesn't, it can actually properly react, counteract, use the antioxidants to combat the free radical cascade, um, properly detox and filter out all of those, toxins that you're getting. And then you mix in like intermittent fasting, and then it's almost impossible for you to not lose weight, right? Like there's only so many mechanisms that are in your body that keep weight on, and the majority have to do with sugar and processed food. So if you just remove that stuff and you replace those carbs with good carbs, like, and then you do intermittent fasting on top of it, it's literally almost impossible to keep on weight. And like, I know because I, in the process of experimenting with these diets, including low carb and other stuff, like I was already not a huge guy, right? Like I weighed like 160 pounds when I started, and I lost like 20 pounds on this, and I didn't have much fat, and like I was still eating as many calories, like still 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day, and I could not keep weight on. Like it was bad. Like I literally eat 6 meals a day now to keep on weight, because the food that I eat is so healthy and there's so many antioxidants and everything that if I don't eat that many calories and I work out at all, like my body fat goes to like 5%. It's insane. So, for weight loss, really what I'm getting is for weight loss, you have a lot of options. And the most important thing to do is to just replace the bad carbs with good carbs and then combine intermittent fasting. And it's literally almost impossible to keep on weight. So if you're looking for a weight loss diet, this is not it. This will just make you feel bad. It will undercut your motivation. Just don't do it. You can make some easy changes otherwise. I'll try and make some videos on proper weight loss diets, even though I haven't ever used a diet specifically for weight loss. I've had weight loss as a byproduct of a lot of them, and I have worked with a lot of people that use them for weight loss. But as you can see, I'm not the biggest guy, so I never actually needed to use the diet as a weight loss diet. It was always just for health reasons. So, I'll try and make some more videos and stuff on that. And, again, there's nothing going to be in the description about the diet because I really don't think that you guys should be following it. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone, and I don't want to propagate any more information about it other than it sucks. So yeah, despite all the doom and gloom there, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you take something from it. Mainly, don't do the low carb diet. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.